Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is on a Monday. We are blessed to have this opportunity to discuss, of course, the issues affecting the Republic of Kenya and most of the political side. As we know, today is 02/02/2026. Before we proceed, allow me to take this opportunity to welcome all our viewers and to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. And suppose you're watching for the first time, we request you to kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa, of course, tutasema ni asante. I want to take this opportunity to welcome Miguda. Miguda naye akuja tuambie siku yake imekuwa vipi and how is the going. It's a Monday, 02/02/2026. Miguda, are you there? Okay, sorry for that. Let me see. I don't know what the problem is, and are you there?
Oh, hello. If you can hear me. Okay, I want to pass my greetings to our viewers. I also pass my greetings to you. Welcome you to the show. We hope that we are going to be having a very useful conversation over here to better our policies and governance. Back to you.
Thank you so much for giving us your view, your take on how your day has been. Allow me to just get straight to the discussion that we are supposed to be having today. And just as the topic reads, we want to focus more about Dr. Fred Okengo Matiangi and the reasons why Matiangi can succeed Ruto in 2027. And, let me take this opportunity to welcome our viewers. And, just like I've said today, I want us to focus on Fred Matiangi. And of course, the big question there is, can he succeed President William Ruto in 2027? Just a background or a small clarification on who Fred Okengo Matiangi is. Fred Matiangi is the former Interior Cabinet Secretary who has built a reputation as a disciplined technocrat. And of course, the recent polls place him as the Ruto's closest challenger. That is, if you compare it with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, and all the opposition leaders, all those who are eyeing the presidential position. And so tonight we'll explore his strength. We'll look into the alliances that he's gotten himself, of course, through the Jubilee Party, joining the opposition parties as well, and also the plans that they have as the parties within the opposition. We'll also dwell on the challenges that they are facing within the opposition and how they can overcome all those challenges that they are facing, and what is his path to the state house and how it could look like. This is part of what I want us to have a look at tonight. And of course, we'll begin by looking at what makes Matiangi to stand out as a candidate. And Miguda, I would now want your take over here. Fred Matiangi is widely respected by his tough, no-nonsense leadership style. As a cabinet secretary, he managed the national security with fairness and, of course, efficiency. Maybe to give an example, remember when he was the cabinet secretary in charge of education, He brought a lot of transparency within that particular docket. You can remember he came at a time when exam cheating was like a lifestyle. But then when he came, he streamlined the education sector. Look at the yellow buses, school buses. He came up with that policy, and today you can you know, when a school bus is coming, you'll be able to know or to say that this is a school bus, and you'll be able to differentiate it from the other buses. Those are some of the things that he brought. Look at the security sector. He brought, of course, a lot of changes within the security sector. And not just that, look at the efficiency in most of the things that he did. Look at the complexity of the dockets that he was serving, and you know the little time he used to turn around things. Remember, he came after Kamenyi was the cabinet secretary of education. Look at the 2015 KCPE and KCSE. When the children or the students were doing the exam, there was a massive cheating in the exams in 2015, mostly in 2015, to an extent that sometimes you'd see before the students do the exam actually would be on newspaper and also even at the television. When he came, he changed that within few years, 2016, 2017. And those are the most important things that he changed within a few years that he was given the opportunity. And that, of course, brings me to this again. He also left a mark, just like I've said, in the education, enforcing discipline, exam management, and restoring credibility to the system. And like many politicians, Matiangi is seen as a less tainted by corruption scandals, giving him credibility among voters who want clean governance. And of course, if you can remember, the recent Infotrack poll shows Matiangi as the strongest opposition candidate ahead of Kalonzo and, of course, Rigathi Gachagua, and not just Rigathi Gachagua, ahead of the other politicians who are within the opposition side. And so the question I would want you, Miguda, to give your take on, do Kenyans want a technocrat after years of populist politics, or does charisma still matter? Mr. Migura, what are your views?
Okay, it cannot just be suddenly transformed to be technocrat leadership from charismatic, outstanding. It must be evolve. It must be done gradual. It cannot be instant. It can be the view of the young turks or the current generation. But what about the oligarchs? And oligarchs, they compose of many population in terms of validly registered voters. Right now, I can say that we have reached a stage whereby we can agree that we want a technocrat wholesomely as a people. When you talked about him being ranked as second best in terms of opinion poll after William Ruto, it means that he is a man to watch, is a worthy competitor in the coming election. And when he's a worthy competitor, you need to form coalitions with like-minded people to compete effectively for the next general elections. Having said that, I agree with you that when he was the CS for internal for education, actually, he transformed the system. He tried his best during his tenure. But where I want to have a point of departure with you is when he was the interior CS. You have said that he works with fairness. Of course, there was some transformation in the security sectors, but I don't think that he worked with fairness. Remember, we were the people who were being targeted on our side in terms of protest, in terms of demonstration, elections. There I don't agree that he worked with fairness. There was some compromise from the people by that time who were controlling him. That's my take, Makobola. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Allow me to welcome Msimamo, and Msimamo, karibu sana. I hope you are doing good. I don't know whether you got my question. Unaweza tuambia siku yako imekuaje, and then if you got my question you can proceed and give us your view. If not, kindly let me know so that I can bring forth the question.
Lete swali kabisa ili nichanganye pamoja.
Okay, thank you so much. This is what we are discussing today, Msimamo. Matiangi is a former cabinet secretary who served in the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and is seen as a top or a serious candidate in the coming general election. And I did say that the big question that the people are asking is, can he succeed President William Ruto in 2027? And again, I'll just give you a simple or a few things that Matiangi did. Matiangi is widely respected of his tough, no-nonsense leadership style. As a cabinet secretary in charge of interior, he managed national security with fairness and efficiency. He also left a mark in education, enforcing discipline in exam management, and of course, restoring credibility to the system. Unlike many politicians, Matiang'i is seen as a less tainted by corruption, scandals, and of course, he is giving him credibility among voters who want clean governance. Recent InfoTrack polls show that Matiang'i as the strongest opposition candidate ahead of Kalonzo, Rigathi Gachagua, amongst others. And the question now we are asking tonight is, do Kenyans want a technocrat after years of populist politics, or does charisma still matter more? That is my question. Simamo.
Labda kizungu yangu ni ya kuja na meli, unaelewa. Hapa mwisho kwa, do Kenyans need a technocrat? By the way, who's a technocrat? Ni mtu wa namna gani?
Okay.
Kama ni kiongozi wa namna gani?
The question I've asked is, do Kenyans want a technocrat after years? A technocrat, let me give you a clear clarification. You know very well that Fred Okengo Matiang'i was not a politician. He was appointed and he came from the academia area. And, he was... is somebody who is learned, somebody who understands quite a lot in terms of the education side. Remember the changes he brought on the education sector. The reason why he did that is because he was not picked from the political landscape. He is a technocrat. To mean that he's somebody who has the knowledge in those particular fields. Compared to the other appointments that we are seeing politicians being appointed to these dockets and they have no knowledge. They are actually politicians being given a position in dockets that they have no knowledge about. I think that would give you a clear meaning of what I mean by techno.
Asante kwa swali na pia kwa kuweza kudadavua. Kwanza nianze kwa salamu kwenu ndugu yangu Mebuda na wewe host, lakini haswa kwa wale wenye wanatufuatilia na tukusikiza haswa popote kule waliko duniani, iwe ndani ya taifa letu ama nje, lakini kubwa zaidi wale ambao wanabaki kwa panda section, kama section kule. Nimeona Paulina na wengine wale wana bezo pande huo. Nikianza nitasema hivi. Tofauti ya serikali iliyopita na serikali ya sasa ni vitu viwili tofauti. Hawa wamedonate expertise kutoka kwa wanasiasa kuweza kuwasaidia. Kule wakati ule mawaziri walikuwa wanachukuliwa nje haswa na siasa. Ndio unakuta sasa baadhi yao haswa ndio walifanya kazi, ukiwemo haswa huyu kiongozi Matiang'i. Alifanya kazi kwa uweledi, alifanya kazi kwa kuheshimu haswa katiba. sio wakati wa stori zenu hapa. Alifanya kazi kwa kujitolea pia, lakini vile vile kuheshimu katiba ya nchi kwa maajili ya mwananchi. So tumemuona haswa pande ule alikuwa waziri wa usalama, tumemuona haswa wakati ule akiwa waziri wa elimu, lakini hata baada ya kwamba baada ya haswa ya hiyo serikali haswa kuwa nje ya madaraka ama kufika mwisho wake, bado ana ile strength ya kutaka kumtengenezea Mkenya, lakini vile vile pia anazungumza mambo yake kwa polepole, lakini kweli. Mfano, alizungumzia sana jana swala la elimu, jambo ambalo haswa kiongozi wa taifa nimeona akilidadavua zaidi kule upande ule, kwamba waliosababisha ni miongoni waliosababisha ni yeye, ni wao, na wakati yeye mwenyewe pia alikuwemo katika serikali hiyo. Nimeona Wanga pia akijaribu kulizungumza haswa, lakini yeye alizungumza kitu ambacho mwananchi anakielewa na anakisikia na kuelewa ni nini sekta ya elimu haswa, na akipewa mamlaka hii sekta ya elimu haswa, walimu wanafunzi watakwenda bure, itakuwa bure haswa, elimu itakuwa bure, jambo ambalo limemuuma sana haswa huyu bwana ambaye anasema yeye yuko na mpango, wenzako wako mpango-less, unaona. So kwa kweli hakika chema chajiuza siku zote, kibaya chajitembeza. So tunaona wale wanaojitembeza sasa hivi kwa kuweza kuwachukua vijana wetu haswa, kuwapoteza maboya kwa vitonge vya mkononi, kisingizio wote tunafanya empowerment. Mbona empowerment hii haikuja mapema at early stage? So as muda huu angekuwa ni wanabiashara na tungeona faida wangapi haswa wameweza kufaidika. Vipi yeye anasema na empower wakati mmebaki muda kidogo tu, na hii kitimuliwa mamlakani, na kina nani watashikwa mkono tena? Kwa sababu nimemsikia CS hapa akizungumza akisoma kwamba hata ukifilisika kijana usio na wasiwasi wa kushika mkono tu ngajua huu ni uongo. Kwa kweli hatuwezi mkompea haswa Ruto na Matiangi kutokana na utendaji kwa kazi. Mmoja ni gwiji wa siasa, mchache wa uongozi rohoni, mwingine ni mnyamavu lakini ana roho ya uongozi. Hiyo ndio tofauti kubwa. Kwa hiyo kivyo vyote vile atabaki kuwa na asilimia kubwa haswa Matiang'i, kwa sababu kwanza tukikumbuka alifanya kuletwa haswa na wananchi kutoka kazi yake, na kama mwenjo tusaidie hapa, kuna mambo yanaharibika. Si kiukweli, ni lazima tuzungumze, tumpe credit yake. Matiang'i anafaa, anatosha, na uwezi mkombani kabisa na bwana Ruto hata siku moja, haswa katika masuala na uongozi. Huyu mmoja ni gwiji wa kupanga siasa, wapi atapangua, wapi ataongeza hivi, lakini huyu ni bingwa haswa katika swala la uongozi, kwa sababu kazi yake inadhihirisha. Bado tuna kumbukumbu wakati huo, lakini sasa hivi kutoka hii serikali ingie mamlakani, klipi la kumbukumbu ambalo linaaminika. Kwa hiyo 2027 probability ya kwamba Matiang'i kuwa rais ipo, kwa sababu ana nyoyo za Wakenya na anaaminika haswa na Wakenya. Asante.
Okay, thank you so much, Msimamo, for giving us your view or your take. Really appreciate. Allow me to welcome all our viewers and to remind them that this is Brother Benson Media, and over here we do say that your opinion counts. We are seeing the political alliances, Mr. Miguda, where ODM, of course, remains the kingmaker. If Raila Odinga, if they decide to step back, Matiang'i could emerge as a compromise candidate accepted to all multiple factions. Remember, the only person who for long managed or was seen as, a candidate that is acceptable was Raila Amolo Odinga. So now that he's not around, and we are having Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, who has been deputy, as vied as a deputy, not once, but almost 3 times under Raila. But we are also seeing Kalonzo Musyoka has already positioned himself as a moral voice in the opposition politics. So my question is, with a Matiang'i Kalonzo partnership, could it be powerful? Miguda, you'll give us your view. But again, Matiang'i's Kisii route give him a regional appeal. Of course, potentially broadening the opposition base beyond Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. We are seeing for the first time a person who is coming from, let me say, Kisii land, is seen as, most people are used of a candidate coming from Nyanza and specifically Luo. If not Luo, it's Kamba, or if not Kamba, it's Kikuyu or it's Kalenjin. But this time around, we are seeing him as, of course, we've seen quite a number of leaders coming from other regions. So all of them who have also wanted to get to the position of the presidency. But this one is a more serious one. Let me put it so, because for the first time, you're having as an opposition that is bringing or coming up with a leader who is not really more associated. We've had tribalism in Kenya, and we've had instances where the presidential candidate is also associated with tribe, of which, those are the kind of politics that are being played here. So him being or having come from Kisii, a place that has not really produced much in terms of somebody going for presidency, would that give him a regional appeal? You can give us your take on that. But again, unlike Ruto and of course Rigathi, Matiangi critic the politicization of the pulpit. So many times you've seen Matiangi saying that churches or pulpit are not the right place that politicians are supposed to make their politics. We've seen President William Ruto going to churches and, of course, speaking politics. We've seen Rigathi Gachagua, but so many times we've seen Matiang'i criticizing that move and saying that it is not right, that the churches are supposed to be respected. And he also said that, the voters are tired of church-centered campaigns. And maybe Miguda and Simamo, what are your views? Can Matiang'i build a coalition strong enough to rival Ruto's church-driven networks, having in mind that majority of support base that Ruto is getting, or those that he got, were from the church? Miguda.
Okay. Oh, what I want to say is that generally most people prefer candidates who are coming from opposition. Whenever a government has been established, there must be ups and downs of that government. You find out that mostly people in oppositions globally, they view it different angle, and they are able to point out the mistakes or the underperforming of that government. They are always that popular followers by people who are out of the position. They tend to get massive popularity, and sometimes they have been given mandates and instrument of power to execute for the state, but they have failed. The Matangi factor can be good for now because of the current regime which has been established, which many Kenyans are dissatisfied with how it's operating. But the big question I want to ask tonight, what if Matiang'i is the same government we want to remove from power? It can come back with the same strategy, and people are going to be dissatisfied with Matiang'i's establishment government. Then later, in 2032, they want to introduce another person. We will be in circles as a country, and the time is moving in a speed. The issue of churches, it has been a norm in the Kenyan politics that some people do politics church, some people do the politics of pulpit. There have been issues, separation of state and religion. Not only an issue, but it is enshrined in the constitution. The state should be separated from religion. But you understand what happened previously. You cannot regulate religion, you cannot regulate politics in a religion. When he becomes the president, whatever circumstances, I don't think he will now give an order that no one should do church politics. If the churches have invited politicians, you cannot do anything because churches are also independent. So churches sometimes do invite politicians. Those are the churches that should be called out. But I do not think that you can regulate them not to call politicians. So either way, even if he is elected the president, there's not much he can do about politics in church. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Msimamo, what are your views on can Matiangi build a coalition strong enough to rival Ruto's church-driven networks? And again, based on where he's coming from, and not just that, being that currently the opposition do not have or is seen to not seem to not be having a strong candidate as it has always been seen in the other times during the times when Raila was there. Msimamo?
To have a strong candidate is not a solution. We were having a strong candidate, Mzee Raila, but we did not even win. We did not even form a government, despite we were having a very strong opposition leader. Kwa hiyo hapa tusione kwamba tukaingia viatu vya hawa mabwana kwamba hawa hawana mpango, hakuna kiongozi. No, tusikize haya maneno yenye wamezungumza jana katika mkutano mjue hapa ni nini haswa tuna kinagombaniwa hapa. Already we know kwamba tunajua kwamba elimu hiyo imeshasambaratika, masuala ya afya yameshasambaratika, mambo mengi yameshasambaratika, ufisadi na everything. Ni nini chanzo? Tunajua chanzo ni kwa sababu ya poor governance, watu wa sisi kwa sisi. So cha msingi ni kuondoa hawa watu wa sisi kwa sisi. Huo ndio mpango mkubwa, kwa sababu kama ni elimu ikifungiwa mianya kwa corruption, watoto watasoma bure. So that's what we need as Kenyans. So mkisema kwamba hakuna strong opposition leader, mnanishangaza. Na hata tukisema sawa, yupo ni Kalonzo ama ni Matiangi ama ni mwingine ama ni Gachagua, kwa kumjua peke yake ndio kwamba tumeshinda? Jamani, tujaribu kuwapa muda kidogo na tuwaunge mkono kwa yale ambayo wanazungumzia. Mambo matatu makubwa ambayo yamefanyika within ya hii United Opposition. Wametaka kujua aswa mfumo mzima utakaofanywa wa IEBC. Tulikuwa hapa tuliyaona. Sasa hivi wameingilia aswa na masuala aswa na hii mambo na usalama na mambo ya kupanga. At least tuone kama yataenda kupata suluhu. So wanalila vile vitu ambavyo tuko navyo, lakini hatutaki. Tumezoele lugha, panganga, propaganda, wao tutatenga, tumeleta, tumefanya hivi. Hiyo ndo tumezuia Wakenya na tunataka kuona. Lingine ana maana kusema jamani, siasa zipunguzwe asoma kanisani, kwa sababu dini na siasa ni wapi na wapi? Dini ni juavyo mimi, msimamo kwamba ni kioo cha jamii na kinasimama haswa kwenye haki. Yaani tunalumbana huku, ikija kwenye vyombo vya dini haki inapatikana. Sasa ikiwa hapa kwenye haki tumepisha wanasiasa wametawala, tujiulize, je, itakuwaje? Tuliona haswa 2000 siasa 2022 kuendelea hapo, wakati wa siasa makanisa yalivyotundikwa mamilioni ya pesa, kwa sababu Wakenya sisi ni wengi tu wa kusahau na kufocus la leo. La Matiangi amesema nini, Ruto akasema nini, Kusumo peke yake. Tukimaliza kesho tukiona vitimbi vingine basi, na ndio maana tunatumika haswa na hawa wajanja wa wanasiasa. Na tukikumbuka haswa 2022 haswa siasa ilikuwaje haswa katika mrengo huo ulioko kwa serikali na makanisa, na milioni ngapi zilibebwa kwa kanisa, tunajenga hii tunajenga hii mpaka ikaanza kuleta cheche, ndio ikapunguzwa kasi kidogo, lakini ilikuwa like a norm. Hapo ndo makanisa yalichafuliwa kabisa, yakatoka nje ya mstatili wa maadili haswa ya kidini na wakajiingiza kwa siasa, na kila ilivyo dini kichanganywa na siasa, hapo ni pumba tu. hapo ni pumba tu. Kwa hiyo mimi ana haki kuzungumzia haswa kwamba hii siasa, na nadhani huyo habahatishi. Bona uzuri wa Matiangi, habahatishi kubahatisha mambo. Tunataka kiongozi ambaye ni jasiri, akisema sasa kanisa mtafanya hivi, kila mtu anafuata hivyo. Bora tukiwe tusi nje ya katiba, si kwa ajili ya kujifurahisha yeye, bali ni kwa ajili ya wengi, ili tuipe heshima dini, tuiregeshe katika mstari na tuitoe haswa katika siasa. Kwa hiyo united opposition, all leaders are strong, kuanzia kwa Gachagua, Kalonzo, Mathakarua, Matiang'i anatembea, all leaders are strong. Haijalishi ametoka katika jamii gani ndogo. Hii masuala kwamba ametoka katika jamii ipi, rais huyu ametoka katika akina nani, wataleta ngapi, kura ngapi, wako, hii haitatusaidia. What we need ni kiongozi ambaye haswa atakuwa na uongozi ndani yake, na uongozi ni kule kufeel kwamba nimebeba mzigo wa wengi ambao wananitarajia mimi haswa niwafanyie mambo mazuri, si ya ni wa kuwatumia kujinufaisha kama tunavyoshuhudia. So hayo ndo yangu, kaka yangu host, kwamba dini, hata mimi napinga vikali sana kuingia katika masuala. Mimi napenda mwanasiasa akiingia hapo, ameenda hapo kuabudu, matendo yake akitoka hapo, wacha akazungumza siasa yake, wananchi wataamua. Angalau dini irudi katika heshima yake, kwa sababu sasa hivi hatujui dini ya kweli ni ipi na wanaotafuta hela ni ipi, kwa sababu wamezuka makanisa kila uchao ambayo kwa kweli imeshusha thamani haswa ya dini, na viongozi nao hawa wajanja wametumia hiyo loophole huko, akienda kimwaga milioni 5 ni za ujenzi, waumini wote wa hiyo kanisa amebeba, hizo ni kura. So tunatumika kama kanga wenye chongo kwa kurushiwa chambo, na tunajisahau kwamba ndio sisi ambao tumeweza kunyofuliwa manyoya yote. Sasa ni chambo hii ambayo tunarushiwa tu, na tunaenda tukidona. Viongozi wetu ndio wa kwanza kwenda kudona, na mtu ndio huyu aliyotutoa manyoya haswa kabisa bila huruma. So strong opposition inaweza nikamili kwamba wote ni wazuri. Wacha tusikize ni nani ambaye ataweza kumtoa, kwa sababu najua wenyewe wanajua ni nani ambaye ataweza kushikilia haswa hili, na pia upande mwingine unangojea usikie kwamba ni fulani tu, na unajua ni hao wa kuribattle, wanaambiwa leo kesho wanatafuta conference ya vijana, wakaende wakajibizane yale majibu ambayo wenzao wameweza. Yani ni siasa kupanguana. Hii ndio siasa ambayo ipo ya kuchafuliana, lakini in the real sense mwananchi anasemaje hapa? Maana hata mimi sijakonvizika kwamba labda Nyanza yote wanaafiki ile ambayo wameweza kuambiwa na viongozi wao wakiongozwa na ODM party leader, pamoja haswa na upande huo. Si wote wataamini haswa hayo. I still believe kwamba kuna watu ambao watasimama for their right. Asante.
Okay. Thank you so much, Msimamo, for giving us your take. We really appreciate. Allow me to welcome Brother Benson and partly pia tupe maoni yake. And Brother Benson is just trying to have a conversation here about Fred Matiangi and the strength that he has as a politician who is also seeking to outseat the president, William Samoei Ruto. And Matiangi is widely respected for his tough, no-nonsense leadership style as a cabinet secretary, both of interior and for education. Remember, when he was in interior, he managed national security with firmness and, of course, efficiency. In education, he did enforce discipline in exam management, and of course, he did restore credibility to that particular department. And then recently, the info-track is showing that Matiangi is the strongest opposition candidate ahead of Kalonzo, Rigathi Gachagua, and the other political contenders within the opposition. So my question to you, Brother Benson, is as a Kenyan, do Kenyans really want a technocrat after years of populist politics, or does charisma still matter? And then you can give us your take on the political alliances and the landscape of, that Fred Matiang'i is getting himself into. where we are seeing ODM has always dominated the opposition, being the leader of opposition for quite a lot. And currently, we are seeing them moving to the government side. And now that the opposition is, we can say it's partly having no one. Matiangi is there, of course, together with others. Is it possible that Matiangi can be seen as replacing the role or the part that was played by ODM? And again, Brother Benson, you can give us your take. Matiangi's Kisii roots, does it give him a regional appeal, potentially broadening the opposition base beyond the Mount Kenya and the Rift Valley region? And again, you can give us your take. We've seen him having consistent talks that politicians are not supposed to be campaigning at the churches, and that it is not respect to the churches, and that it is not right. So my question again that I'm asking is, can Matiangi build a coalition strong enough to rival Ruto's church-driven networks? Brother Benson.
All right, thank you so much, Makobura. Sometimes I might lose you because I'm kind of like moving, so I might have a unstable network. And thank you for the opportunity. And also, let me take this opportunity to say hi to Smamo and Miguda. Matiangi stand a chance of replacing President William Ruto, and the reason I'm giving that is I checked when he was at Odhaya, when they went back to Nyeri, when he was given the podium to speak, he has this politics whereby he's trying to hit the message home as compared to that one of Rigathi Gachagua, where he usually goes and attack President William Ruto of one term and two term. No, Rigathi Gachagua talks about one term, majority of his speaks, and calling out on some of the calling out on president on some of the decisions that the president take. But when you look at Matiang'i, remember yesterday Matiang'i was talking about Akuna Akili. So lead out members of the government asking, is hiyo ndio unasema kwamba hakuna akili? Because remember he talked about the Kibaki free primary education. He reminded people how Bill Clinton said that he wanted to meet president. That is the only person he wanted to meet, President Kibaki. He talked about the transitioning that they did with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and was 60 years after independence, still the children cannot go to school, and that's why bado unasema kwamba hatuna akili. He also talked about the healthcare, whereby there are quite a number of people who are still having those challenges, and he said that hakuna akili. He talked about the security, whereby he was saying that the police are working together with the goons, and hiyo ndio bado unasema hakuna akili, and talking about even the churches. So with that, I think is getting that messaging that people wants to hear, rather than always, if you compare what Rigathi Gachagua is doing, that alone, come back, it will be not very easy for president, and the president will always send as spare as your lectures, because like when you start to raise issues, especially that are touching on the issues that questioning some of the things that maybe the president is doing or maybe the government is doing, the president will always defend or rebuttal you by saying, spare us your lectures, we know what we are doing. So I think with Matiangi coming out with that kind of messaging, I think it can appeal to so many people. Then secondly, I think like if you say, people might not look at Matiangi and take granted. I think like I've always have this belief that only people who can be in the leadership of politicians. But if you look at the legacy of these politicians, they've failed terribly. For instance, look at what is happening in the northeastern, especially. They've been getting money. The other day, you saw what happened to the money that the governor, especially, say that was used, but it was allocated somewhere. You saw what happened with Cecil Mbarire, whereby 10 million Kenya shillings that was made for industrial park was diverted to that happened in Embu. And when she was asked, she was under pressure. From where? And remember, this event was being attended by Deputy President, knowing very well that they've taken the money. The governor has taken the money that is not meant for that. So I think as we want to look at changes, or we want to look for good leadership, I don't think that it will be of good taste if we say that, okay, we are looking for a politician who is going to be, but maybe to look for somebody who can bring change into the leadership of the country. Because like even him himself yesterday, he maintained that the only problem that we have is the average leadership that we have. That is what is costing the country. And he was saying that, okay, if you give us an opportunity to lead, we will make sure that the free primary education is the education sector is going to be in good shape if you give us the uh, the opportunity. So I think if Matiangi can maintain his messaging, with coded message, and bring a new twist on how he does his politics, populist, he ran away from populist politics, from maybe what the president is doing and other politicians, especially ile ya ku attack watu politically, So I think it can also, it can stand a chance. Another thing that makes Matiangi to stand a chance is taking advantage of what the people on the ground are saying, because like if you listen to people from the ground, especially, remember the president the other day said that everybody should go to school without uniform or without school fee. Every Kenyan student who start for that examination, but they are going to school there, and some of them are still being sent home. So the question is, what is happening if the president has given directive, and there are quite a number of people who are still being sent home because they do not have money for uniform. They do not have money for where at the time of they're being admitted, and they're told to go back home. So if you take advantage of those weaknesses that are on the government side and have a very good packaging, then that could be a very it could stand a chance with him. And also, if he knows, especially quite a number of Kenyans who knows um, what they want in the ballot box, especially the pay slip. Those who are talking about the pay slip, who their pay slip are being eaten over by higher taxation, that one also can also assist him to get the middle class. I saw the other day, I think it was yesterday, Mbadi was having a conversation with uh, somewhere I saw, and he was saying that they're not going to be taxed 30%. If you're earning 30,000, they're not going to tax you. And I was now asking myself that so does it mean that even the house levy is not going to be taxed? So I think if Matiangi utilizes on the weaker side of the government, I think he has that opportunity to replace President William Ruto come 2027. But it's not going to be very easy, based on how President William Ruto right now. President William Ruto now with the Nyota Fund, his main target is in Kisumu, for instance, and the large crowd that were there because he was launching for Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, I think for the 3 counties, and you saw quite a number of people who have come. But you're being given 20,000, I think so. But you're supposed to earn like 50 in all 47 wards. Each and every person, the groups that are going to be selected, or those who qualified, I think you're supposed to have 50,000. But the 50,000, you're not getting it immediately. You are getting it in bits. You first of all get 25,000, which means another 3,000 is going for NSSF. You remain with the 22,000. You start with that. So, and the majority, the main aim is that even if it is empowerment, but the main aim is to capture the attention of the Gen Z. And maybe at some point you will say that the other 25,000 will come when we are almost approaching election. So which means that one will drive so many Gen Z towards the voting or to vote for him. So they also have to, Matiangi also has to try very hard to come up with mechanism on how he can do that, just in case if he's given an opportunity in the united opposition to lead. But from the way things are, I tend to believe that Matiangi in the united opposition, if he can be given that leadership, I think he can be well placed in position than Rigathi Gachagua, despite even the Kalonzo Musyoka coming with a lot of experience. But I think Matiangi can have a very good junk. Talking about the opposition, I listened to Gladys Wanga and some of the ODM members who are saying they're not going back to the street. Um, the street was not only meant to criticize the government of the day. The street is a way to tell the government or any other organization that we are not satisfied with what you are doing and things need to change. I think it is high time they also should go and read what maandamano, or what I would say that the 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 protest has achieved. Go to those countries where people have protested. People are not just protesting. And for the protest, it wasn't only the Luo community who used to protest. Yeah, even though the majority of the population used to be in the Luo, led by the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. And now they're saying that they do not want protest. Nobody wants to protest. But if there's an issue that the government is not taking care of, or any organization, you are allowed to go to the street, because the constitution gives you that right to go to the street. And Wanga also talked about they need like 50-50 on the government, which is not realistic, because like, how do you demand that you need 50% yet you're already in government? How is that one possible? You are going to negotiate in a government that you are always in and you're demanding 50%, which will not happen. That is ni ndoto ya mchana. Huwezi sema kwamba you want 50% shares of the government. And you see, those are some of the things that usually have led us to where we are, whereby we go with the mentality that 50%
Mzee unaishia
so
kabisa, tukupati kabisa mzee. Benson,
okay,
hatukupati
pole basi,
kaka
wacha
kabisa.
niangalie. Okay, Bakobura, you can continue then.
Okay. Okay, thank you for finding time to join us and to give us your take. And I want us to get to the next discussion, where we're seeing the challenges and, of course, the counter arguments coming from other politicians, and, of course, directed to the politicians as well. And, we are seeing Matiangi lacks Ruto's populism or populist charisma. The president is one politician who is very clever, in the sense that he knows he's a populist. Let me put it so. He's somebody who will come, of course, give you stories, and then from nowhere you'll find yourself maybe liking him or believing what he has said. And most of the time, he do not fulfill the promises. But if he comes, he tells you, of course, from the tone and from how he carries himself, you will believe. He's respected. I mean, Matiangi is respected, but he does not. But does he inspire the same emotional connection with voters? Because we've seen the president doing what we call evoking the emotions of the people, and that is how he even managed to secure quite a good number of support in the Mount Kenya region. We are not. The question I'm asking is, how is Matiangi going to move around to ensure that he also he manages to evoke the emotion, so that he gets the connection from the voters. He doesn't yet have a strong personal party base. That is one thing that we've seen. And of course, without ODM or united position, his candidacy, of course, could struggle. Remember, ODM has always held the opposition, and being that ODM is also shifting to the government side, there are possibilities that he could struggle with his candidature. And again, we're also seeing Rigathi Gachagua remaining influential in the Mount Kenya region, a region that could be decisive in 2027. How is Matiangi going to get into the Mount Kenya region to ensure that he also gets that massive support so that he'll be in a position to win more voters in the Mount Kenya region, and especially those who have left the current president? And of course, that brings me to this question. Are technocrats disadvantaged in Kenya's populist political culture, or is it competency finally what voters want? Migud, I think you can give us your take on that particular.
Ngile mimi kwa sababu natemwa hapa, naona ishara kwamba natemwa na bando, so niingilie kidogo alafu nimwache. Sio, umenielewa kaka?
Yes, proceed.
Ya, nisije nikatemwa kabisa hapa, ngo sijafanya wangu. So samahani ndugu yangu Miguu, najua ni nafasi yako, lakini acha tu mimi niteme yangu hapa nikaondoke. Unajua, mkisema ODM imejiunga kwa serikali na ndio ilikuwa upinzani, mnanishangaza. ODM ni nembo tu, ni maneno tu, kama vile tu niandike msimamo basi inabaki pale pale, lakini ODM haswa ni wanachama wameenda wote kwa serikali, ni wananchi wameenda wote kwa serikali, ama wameshawishika sasa hivi. So kiukweli bado wafuasi wengi wana maswali haswa na huu muungano na ukuhuba kwa viongozi wale ambao wanafungama na serikali na wako mbioni kunadi ODM, lakini wakumbuke bado wana kibarua kigumu kuweza kuwaleta wana ODM wote kwa pamoja, failure to which itabaki ni ya region, na hiyo region pia ita decide. Si wote watasimama kwa sababu wameambiwa tuko kwa serikali, wengine kwa serikali because wanatafuta power wapate 50-50. Kenyans are above power. Kile wanahitaji ni kiongozi ambaye atakuwa na wajali na tija na kufikiria taifa muhimu. So huyu hata akisema yuko na mipango, yuko na hii lugha aliitumia 2022 na mambo mengi na huko nyuma. Lugha hii ishajulikana sasa kwamba haina mashiko. Kwa huu mwaka tutakuta hatua mambo mazuri akiletwa, kila mtu anagusishwa, kila mtu nini, lakini because ni kwa sababu tu ya hiyo 2027. Wao wanga kujipiga kifua kwamba tunataka hii, tuna demand nini? If you are the largest party East and Eastern Sahara, so what are you demanding? Wacha wafuate, na kwa sababu hata mnadonate expertise, wacha mfuate na serikali mbembelezwe, sio nyinyi ndio mnafuatafuata. Angalau hii kitu hii ndio inaniuma, but millions of supporters of ODM still are on question marks. Si wote wamebebwa ati wako kwa broad based government, ni viongozi ndio wako kwa broad based government, nao ndio wanakuja kwa wananchi walazimisha wawe kwa broad based government. Hilo ni la kwanza, na lingine la mwisho aswani hili nilizozungumzwa na kakaangu hapa. Kiongozi hatachaguliwa na wingi wa region ama na ungwaji na kura ataleta kwa region. Tukia katika huo mkumbo tumefail pakubwa kama taifa. Kiongozi wacha awe ni kiongozi ambaye ana track record nzuri, kiongozi ambaye hafungamani na masuala na ufisadi, kiongozi ambaye hatahakikisha kwamba ataiheshimu katiba yetu ya nchi na kuifuata haswa kisawa sawa. So haijalishi hata kama anatoka jamii ndogo, lakini yuko na tajriba. Wakenya tunafaa tumwangalie yeye, kwa sababu tukibeba kwamba ni mtu wetu na sisi ndio ngome kubwa ama sisi ni jamii, sisi lazima safari hii tutoe mtu wetu. Hiyo tumeiona, tumeona matokeo yake na haitatupeleka mahali popote. So mimi awe na chama strong awe hana chama strong, anatosha ama hatoshi? Swali langu Matiang'i anatosha, kwa sababu alionyesha tu mfano bilioni 7 kwa sekta ni ya kazi gani? na tunashuhudia sasa hivi, kama si kwa Nyota Fund basi labda pengine ni kwa kufungua soko ama kwa mkutano State House. Ndio hiyo miaka yote mitatu tumeona wageni wakialikwa, hawa mara walimu, mara grupu hii, mara grupu hii, mara grupu hii, mpaka sasa the last group ambayo inaumiza kichwa, ambao wanataka kumalizana nayo haswa ni Generation Z. Wafeel they are part of this government, tena wachukuliwa akili kama pale mwanzo kwa Hustler Fund. So this is another hustler nation. It's ndo hii ya Nyota Fund, but hii tutabidi tuifuatilie haswa kiundana, haswa tujue hii pesa inatoka wapi na kwa minajili gani, kwa sababu kuna mambo ya muhimu zaidi. Wao unasema unaenda kuempower vijana, sawa, unawapa 20,000 na wale wanafunzi ambao wanarudi manyumbani wako wamekaa manyumbani na hawaendi shule kwa sababu ya school fees, unawapangia nini? Ukisimama kama leo venye amesimama amesema ati amelocate pesa ya kutosha kwa masuala ya elimu na ameajiri walimu wa kutosha, kwa ina maana kwake elimu sasa ishanyooka kabisa, hakuna matatizo. Matatizo sasa ni kuempower vijana. Hii yote uongo wote huu nani ataushika? Kwa hiyo mimi ari yangu kubwa ni kuona kwamba viongozi wa wapinzani wasiwe tu odhaa tu, wao waentokelezee kwa wananchi. Wakitokelezea kwa kikamilifu, wacha panguane na yale anaambiwa ya kweli, mwananchi atachagua mbivu na mbichi twendako. Wasinyamaza sasa hivi, wacha wawashe huu moto. Leo tuwaone hapa, kesho tuwaone hapa, kesho tuwaone kule, kwa sababu hakuna haja kwamba mwingine achukue tu opportunity naenda kufanya empowerment, na ikitoka pale ni kuomba kura. Mwisho wa siku ni kuomba kura. Wacha hata wengine pia waombe kura bila vitisho, bila kuwa intimidated, wasitishiwe haswa. Wacha kila mtu ajieleze, kwa sababu ni Kenya ambayo tunaamini kwamba ina uhuru wa kujieleza. Wacha hawa wajieleze kivyao. Sio hiyo ndo ari yangu na ndo kufunga kwangu, ndugu zangu. Lakini kwa kweli hata siku moja uongo huu unaishia mazima, huu unaishia mwisho. Wakikaza kamba vizuri kwa kuyadadavua yalivyo, kama alivyofanya jana masuala na elimu, jinsi alivyoiweka na jinsi gani elimu itakuwa bure na kwa lugha ambayo ni ya unyenyekevu na kueleweka kwa wananchi. Huu ndio komavu wa mtu haswa na legacy ya kiongozi anavyofaa kuwa, si kelele na kuhubiria watu kila siku kwamba nafanya hili na hilo nalofanya halionekani. Kiongozi hafai kutabiri haswa kile ambacho anafanya, na kile ambacho ni mwananchi mwenyewe ajiamulie, kwa achague haswa kwa moyo wake wote kwamba huyu bwana anatufaa. Mara sikufika sasa hivi ukileta Uhuru na Ruto waeke, kila mtu atapigia Uhuru kura sasa hivi, lakini kwa sababu katiba yenyewe ndio imekataa. Lakini rai tu weka watu wawili direct, na acha hiyo Uhuru, weke yeye na Matiangi. Wakenya bado watamchagua Matiangi, awe na chama awe hana chama, si bado watamchagua kutokana na ile kazi ambayo ameweza kuifanya wakati huo na sasa hivi na misimamo yake. Kwa hiyo nitaachia pale ndugu zangu, na ni siku kesho, ni siku jamani, wacha niwaage kabisa. Asante.
Okay, thank you so much, Simamo, for giving us your views. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. And to everyone who is watching, this is Brother Benson Media. Over here, we do say that your opinion counts. We request you to kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Miguda, what are your views on the same questions that Msimamo has given his take on?
I just want to be brief concerning the question you've asked. Kenyans can still need a technocrat. Kenyans might have a urge to have a technocrat as a president, but the masses might think otherwise. The masses can be influenced by money. The masses can be influenced by emotional intelligence, playing along with their mind, but not concentrating on the real issue. That's where we can fail as a country. But if Matiangi is going to resolve the issues and transform the country, it stands a better chance, because currently there's no competition. Once you can persuade and avail yourself to be effective competitor, worthy one, the people of Kenya might elect you as the next president of the Republic of Kenya. So the issue of technocrat, the issue of meritocracy, why can't we give it a try? Why can't we try a technocrat president, unlike the others who have come before, so we can identify where our problem is as a nation? Is it a technocrat problem or a current leadership problem? Makobura, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Shaima. I've seen that. Uh-huh. Hatutaki elimu ya bure tu, tunataka elimu bora na bure. Okay. There's also a question here asking for a friend 22 years atafanya biashara gani na 22,000 surely. Mtu labda ajashika hata 10k. Okay. Thank you so much, Shaima, for your take. We really appreciate. And maybe to just give my last views on this particular statement is we are seeing what we call, we've seen Fred Okengo Matiangi's path to 2027 rest on three pillars. Of course, his technocratic credibility, and not just that, we are also seeing that the opposition unity. If the opposition is united, it will give him a good opportunity. And you're also seeing the voter appetite for issue-based politics. That is what Miguda was trying to explain. The people really do not care. I mean, the people should give a chance to somebody who is giving or playing a politics of issue-based. What we are also seeing is his challenges are real. Charisma, we've got party machinery, and of course the decision by the other political parties within the opposition could make or break him. And that is why I've talked about the three pillars. His technocrat would give him a chance. The opposition unity also matters to him. And of course, the voter appetite for issue-based politics. So the ultimate question is, will competency and discipline finally outweigh populism in Kenyan politics? That is what we are waiting to see, based on the fact that we've been in the Republic and we've seen the kind of politics that are being played. We are waiting to see whether the people of Kenya will make the decision based on the populism kind of politics or the issue-based politics. We'd love to hear, of course, your views. What are your views in terms of, would you vote for a technocrat like Matiangi, or do you prefer a populist leader like President William Samoei Ruto? Those are some of the questions that are coming forth. And I think now that Meguda seems to have dropped, I would not go for long. I would just want to take this opportunity to appreciate and, of course, to acknowledge everyone who joined us today. And allow me to say a big thank you to John Owiti, Shaima Hussein, I saw Batseba Ndwari. Thank you so much, Batseba, for also finding time. It's been a while. I also saw Nazar. Thank you so much for also finding time to join us. We really appreciate. I also saw somebody here by the name. Let me see. This Paul. Oh, thank you so much, Paul. There's Dale. Dale Felix was also here. Thank you so much, Dale, for also finding time to be with us. Alice was also here. Thank you so much, Alice. And of course, today, just like we've had a conversation, and the question that we are asking tonight is, what are the chances that Fred Okengo Matiangi are having in as we are approaching the next general election? Him being a technocrat, and of course, he's intending to remove from power or to fight politically with somebody who has been in politics from 90s to date. The question you're asking is, how possible or which ways should they use to ensure that he get to that to get that particular position? Those are some of the questions. But again, today I also saw the president was in Kisumu. He's been in Homa Bay. He's been in Siaya, of course, with these projects of Nyota. I saw the comment of Shema here saying that the president is giving people 22,000. Can 22,000 assist a Kenyan in this kind of environment or in this kind of economy? These are some of the questions that people are asking. That, of course, money is money, but is it really the right way? Is that really empowerment? Giving 22,000 to a youth and telling him to start a business in an economy where taxes are high, things are, I don't think it is the best way. The government needs to do a lot on matters of ensuring that they lower the cost of taxation, especially to the young people, so that they get the opportunity to start their own businesses and that the businesses would pick. Something else is that the government needs to invest more on what really matters: creation of a job opportunities. Taking money from government, giving 22,000 to people, selected few, cannot in any way assist in supporting the youth of the Republic of Kenya. Somebody who has gone to school, from nursery to high school to college, you give them 22,000. I don't know what kind of serious business somebody can start with 22,000. So to me, I believe that the government has what it takes. They have all the environment and the opportunity to start and do the right or follow the right procedures of ensuring that they assist the youths. Creation of job opportunities. There are so many ways they can do it. That is why they came and that is why they were elected. While they were seeking or looking for this particular position, they came and clarified to the people of Kenya. They gave the agenda that they had and read it to the people. More of the agenda they brought forth is transforming the nation by empowering the youths and, of course, creation of job opportunities. I believe it is not right for this government at this particular time to be coming out to giving selected few 22,000 to start businesses. And remember, you're giving it to somebody who has gone and has gone to school and colleges and universities. To me, that is a mockery, which is not right, because it is this government who told the people of Kenya, and especially the youths, how they were going to be lifted from the sufferings from being a hustler to somebody who has what it takes in the society. So let them use the right mechanism of ensuring that they do the creation of job opportunities in a way that they will do, or they will be doing away with the unemployment instead of coming to give 22,000 shillings. Something else that I also saw trending is um, the former cabinet secretary, Mr. Owalo, who at some point, he was in Citizen TV, he was asked about his net worth, and he said that he's about 1 billion. And the question that the people are asking is that the last time he was interviewed, he approximated his wealth to be 630 something million. So the question that the people of Kenya are asking is that in 2 years, he's been able to make more than 300 and something million, and today he's now a billionaire. And the question now, where has he gotten the money? And they are in the same government, in the same country where young people are being given 22,000 to start businesses. Yeah, and that is what is happening. Something else that was also trending, we saw the party leader of ODM, Dr. Buru, telling the deputy that they're not going to take his job, that they're going to negotiate for other positions, and that he should not be worried. Yeah, those are some of the things that I saw trending. So maybe Nguda, if you can hear me, you can also come and give us just a few take on the trending things that you saw or you hear before we close. And maybe before you pick up, Mdumez has given some proposal here, which I think is okay. Yeah, maybe we'll ask him and then we can see what we can be able to do as the lovers of this particular channel. Thank you so much, Mdumez, for that insight. We will talk about it and see the possibilities of that.
Okay, I just want to state my last thoughts. Right now, I can see Matiangi has come to the pitch and he is all over and it's also moving. That's very fair. Let them move and also let's do good politics as a people of Kenya. Let's not harm each other. Just a competition. Then we must remain as Kenyans people. Thank you for coming to the show, our viewers, and also participate in the comment section. We say big thank you. And also Mark Bura for hosting, Robinson, Msimamo. Tomorrow we'll be here, we'll meet. For now, bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, Meguda, for your take as well. I think we just end now. I want to take this opportunity once again to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us, and once again to remind you that this is the Benson Media, and over here we do say that your opinion counts. If you're watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us, na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. I want to take this opportunity, of course, to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.